you are here, but mostly Disney is the name of the podcast here to play. Laugh along to what they say. So tune in, grab your mouse ears, let's all give a cheer for Disney. Times are here.
Hey guys, welcome to the But Mostly Disney podcast. I'm your host Tater, along with my friend on the other end in Charleston, South Carolina, Andrew.
Hello, everybody.
Tonight, we have the coolest guest with the coolest name, our new friend Hawk, who I met on Married a Disney Addict, which is a great podcast, and you should probably go listen to that instead of ours.
The bullies.
What's up, man? Thank you so much for coming.
No problem, man. I'm super excited to be here. We actually had the opportunity to go over and spend a little time at Disney this past week, and we'll get over a couple more days this week too. So there was some cool stuff going on over there.
Yeah, rub it in, man. Rub it in. Actually, I should have reached out. We were there. Yeah, I was there Monday and Tuesday.
We had the opportunity. We got some really great video of the not so baby tiger anymore back. So over at Animal Kingdom. And we were with a cast member who said he actually jumped down into the water, but up from the upper wall in the main area. And I got it on video, and the cast member was like, "I've never seen him do that." And we posted it. Got about 50,000 views within an hour and popped right off. It was pretty cool. But it was neat to see him growing up and exploring and, challenging himself and playing and doing the different things that even the cast members were saying is something different every day, because he's just a little over a year old. So it's pretty neat to see his growing every week, to be able to pop over and take a walk through that trail at Animal Kingdom.
That's so cool. I know Brian says you just got back and he called me Tomater, which I'll take. But I don't know. I think I've said this before, but do you remember a show in the 80s, not necessarily the news? And remember that guy had sniglets and he did these words for things?
Yeah.
I feel like I need a sniglet for you just got back from Disney, but you're already jealous of somebody else who's been there since you.
That's a good one.
Like I was literally just there and I'm already like, oh, I can't believe you got to go. Well, Hawk, before we get, because I do want to talk about Daredevil, but why don't you kind of give us your Disney origin story and tell us what you do and let everybody know who you are and how you got here.
Sure. My first trip to Disney was back in 1974. My great-grandmother lived down here. My mom and my grandmother took me down, and we spent a couple days at Disney. I didn't go again until 1986 and stayed at the Polynesian. Went with my parents, and that was back when you could rent those little power boats to chase the ferries around and jump the wakes and try to enjoy yourself. And I spent probably 80% of my vacation in one of those boats. I was just constantly in the boats and not going to the park. And then when I had a daughter and took her to Disney for the first time in 2012, really just fell in love with everything through her eyes. I had the opportunity to see it in a very different perspective than I had as a kid. I wasn't a real huge theme park person, and just seeing her melt and get so excited to interact with characters. And she's not a princess chaser. As a matter of fact, every time she got called a princess when she was 5, she used to get upset and say, "I don't like princesses, I like fairies." And, so she was a big Tinkerbell fan. But, over the years, a trip a year turned into 2 or 3 and then got up to 5 or 6. And we were spending on average 30 to 45 days a year at Disney. And I eventually moved down from Boston, and now we get 100, 150 days a year in theme parks. So it's pretty nice. It's nice to go over without the pressure of having to do anything. And Disney is just a place where we find our peace. And my wife and I love to go over and just get our steps in and take a walk and people watch and see the young kids enjoying the magic and maybe do a few rides. And we're pretty adventurous for our age. Well, it's not really a ride we won't do, but we enjoy it.
It's like
That's
you're
awesome.
living in my head right there. So I found, it's funny. I mean, we went, I think 75 and 76, somewhere in there was our first trip. And it wasn't like a total childhood thing. We went a couple times and that was it. I loved Walt on TV. I loved all the old movies. And then I lived in Florida. I lived in Key West for a year. And then I opened a restaurant in Jacksonville and Miami and Daytona. We were right there. I went to Universal one time. But we kind of did like a drinking thing there more than, really participating in what Universal had to offer in the 90s. And I really didn't go over to Disney. And then our family kind of found it together. And it's something that my wife and I grew into. And that is our plan, is to retire down there and do exactly that. Go over and get our steps in, walk around after dinner. Because having an annual pass and not having to, that frantic, I've got to get what I spent out of this week. And I totally understand that too. I'm not against that. But it's such a different feeling. Like it's hard to explain.
It was so weird when I moved down here, as you say that, because my wife had been in Florida since the 70s. She moved here when she was 7 years old. And, so she had been here a long time. And I asked her, I said, what's your favorite restaurant? And she's like, we don't eat out at Disney. We just drive over and then we go home because it's too expensive. And I was like, that just totally threw me off, because as someone that travels down, I was always so excited to hit the restaurants and do the food.
Oh,
and
almost more important than the rides, right? I mean, yeah,
exactly. And it was such a weird concept for me, because I'm trying to find out her favorite restaurants and she really didn't have any. She's like, I will just grab a snack or quick service or something if I need it. And so now we do spend a little more time enjoying the dining experiences. So far this year, we've hit Topolino's a couple times, Steakhouse 71. We went to Olivia's this week for dinner to get the chicken.
That, yeah.
That's
good.
It really is.
So, yeah.
That place might be a super underrated, like, secret restaurant. I mean, because it is so good.
100%.
Yeah, we even ended up, and we took our kids. So this is I'll say this summer will be our 20th year in a row going as a family, right? And that doesn't include us going down, like just my oldest went this time, like drove down. So anyway, so we've had little trips as well, but 20 consistent years of going. And even after like year 3, the kids kind of realized they were coming back next year. And we've always come back from Disney relaxed, right? Like we never felt frantic at the parks. The kids would be like, Dad, I want to ride Peter Pan. Well, it's an hour and 20 minutes. Well, maybe next year, and they were pretty, which makes you a little tear in your eye. Like you're my boy Blue, kind of thing. And so we've always had a very relaxing Disney, and I see it. I see other people, but I mean, like Tony, who lives in Alaska, says she's jealous for other people while she's at Disney, literally. And I totally get that too. But I mean, the airline tickets, I mean, that's why I haven't been to Tokyo, because there's 5 of us and I want to see Tokyo Disney Sea more than anything. But to drag 5 people literally halfway around the world it's not a small effort financially or trying to figure it again. August, Karen, my oldest kid's name is August, who's looking for a job in animation, if anyone out there is listening. Graduates, gosh, in like 2 months. That's crazy.
Wow.
So they've got applications out at a bunch of studios, but it's not the best hiring time in the animation world right now. So
do you guys have favorite Disney restaurants? Like, do you have a favorite spot?
Oh, yeah.
What's yours, Andrew?
Oh, yeah. Ohana.
Okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner.
Gotcha.
Which by
8 o'clock.
And it's gotten better. Like we went, like Ohana was all.
Oh, it went
did.
down for a little
It
bit.
Yeah, it did have a little bit of a rough run.
But the last time we were there last June, and I think it was back up to standards. It was really, really good.
Yep.
I still miss the grilled shrimp. Like they went to Peel and Eat, and
Yeah, it's all peel at least right now, but
I
Now,
think
what's yours, Tater?
I think that like our must do cannot miss is Morimoto Asia, which I know Disney Springs, but those ribs, I dream of ribs at night. And I mean, Crystal Palace breakfast is something we almost always do. Like that's a big one. But if I had to pick one restaurant, I think even over the Boathouse, I think it'd be Morimoto. Now on property, I'd have to think a little more of where we always go. Sci-fi it's I know it gets a lot of heat. We love it. I like the burgers. I like the atmosphere.
I don't know why
I don't either. How about you?
For burgers, we like Geyser Point
Oh, yeah,
over
it's
at
the best.
Wilderness
Yes.
Lodge. I don't think there's a burger on property that can get touched by that.
No,
And
we've had that debate.
for dinner, I really do like Topolino's. I was pleasantly surprised with the dinner, but that's our breakfast go-to, hands down. That is our breakfast go-to when it's a treat. But much like you know, like once you bring a couple of other people with you, you know that bill gets high quick. So, and
Yes, it does.
for eggs, and I mean the roasted potatoes in the morning are the best I've ever had anywhere. I don't know what they do to those potatoes, but they're as gold as the gold value that they have for sure because they are delicious.
See,
But
Tony said Morimoto Asia ruined ribs for her dad. That all others hail. Well, I mean, if you come here a lot, you've heard this story. But the first time we went there, and I didn't know who Morimoto was. Like I didn't watch Iron Chef, so I didn't know he was famous. And we went in there and bought this. I think if not, I'll post a picture of this giant this sushi tower with lobster, and we were shoving it aside to get to my kids' ribs. My son had ordered ribs because he didn't like sushi, and we're literally stealing his ribs. He was we'd spent like $200 on this sushi tower that I would have given away to get to the ribs. I love it. But you're right. That burger that Bison burger, there's nothing better on property. And Walulu Cafe Bar and Grill has become. We really like that place.
which one?
At the new Polynesian Tower, the Walulu.
Yeah, we were there for dinner a couple times. The wings are amazing. It's super small portions. I wish I'd rather pay a little more money and get a little more food, to be honest. But because I think it's like 6 wings, 5 wings. It's a very small portion. It's not very big, but phenomenal wings. The sticky ribs that they have there. I've never had Morimoto, but I can say those sticky ribs are pretty good.
Oh, you do yourself a favor and go to Morimoto. They're incredible.
Yeah.
It's on the list. I'll put it. It just made the list.
It's so good. I mean, it's just, and we've had great service there. It's a great atmosphere. The spam wasabi at Walulu is really good as well. Like that's fantastic. And I like a tuna poke bowl. That was actually the best thing I had at Flower and Garden was the tuna poke bowl, on what we ate around the world. Now and this, so I put this out and Brian says best burger on property is at Walulu. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but, when I put out is the Bison burger the best, because I do think it is. That one got a lot of attention. Steakhouse 71 got a lot of attention.
We were a little disappointed with Steakhouse 71, to be honest, when we went in. I think because of the way people had talked about it, you almost elevate your expectations to an unrealistic sense. When you hear, oh, it's the best steak you'll ever have. Oh, it's this. And you go in, and I was very underwhelmed, to be totally honest. And we had a good time. Dinner was good, but I didn't feel as though for the value for the money that some of the restaurants at Disney present you with, I didn't feel Steakhouse 71 lived up to what our credit card bill was.
So we ate there Tuesday, St. Patrick's Day, a week ago. And my burger was okay. I would order something different if I went again. However, my oldest is vegan, and Disney's so great if you're vegan. It's so easy. Like, vegan is expensive and it's difficult because for her, even a little butter will upset stomach. So they have a vegan vegan Wellington, and it was beautiful.
That's what my daughter had.
And it looked, it looked out of this world, and she said that was probably her favorite thing. So
that's awesome.
I'm sure we'll end up back there again.
Yeah, we ate at Steakhouse 71 right after it opened. And it was like, we'll give it another try. Then we tried it again, and I was like, I can think of so many better places on property to eat. And it's just the atmosphere wasn't there either. I didn't think it was
It,
just
it
like a gray wall,
it's very different.
just very
Yeah, I
yeah.
agree with you. We were in the back corner too, like way in the back. If you enter, we were like in the opposite corner, all the way back in the back, and it just did. It had a very stagnant feel. It took
Yep.
45 minutes for our table to get a beer and a glass of wine.
Ooh.
We're a little. We actually asked the wait staff if they had forgotten it in the state they were from. Just
Could we get a black tablecloth? I think our waiter died.
but they were very sweet. Like the service was good, but it wasn't as. It just seemed like an off night in the whole restaurant too. And I'll be honest, we go to Disney enough that you see that on occasion.
Right.
They've either had a staff change or they're running late all night and everybody's stressed. It can be 100 different reasons. So we never write a place off for one visit, but we were just not overwhelmed. We were really hoping for a higher expectation.
Yeah, and I tell you what I think would be cool. It's not. I try to stay obviously very positive, except about the lobby of the Polynesian. They can burn for that one. I know it bothers me. It's the one thing like, oh, we're getting rid of the riverboat. Okay, well maybe cars will be cool. I'm willing to see how it goes and wait and trust that Disney has my best interest at heart. But losing that lobby it's just such a travesty. But I think it's like when you walk in, the bar and the seating area there is so well imagineered, right? Like that mid-century modern, it feels like a scene out of The Incredibles without having IP or anything. So cool. And then the seating area in the restaurant's just kind of a restaurant. Like it's not as, it's a little stale. Like they could have really brought that theme, even if it meant losing 4 or 5 tables, because look, atmosphere matters, right? I mean, take Ohana. So we've been there and had great meals there. And then I've been twice in a row where it was bad. We kept going because I want to hear the ukulele and watch my kids, at the Hukilau. And the atmosphere was enough to, even without fireworks, to keep us going, right? And now I do think it's gotten a lot better. We ate at the little lounge too, and that was fantastic. We had a good meal there. So, but that could have been a really neat restaurant, or they could have put games in there because originally I think it was the arcade.
That was arcade.
Put the shooting gallery back in. That'd be a lot of fun. I'd eat and shoot.
That's my lobby. See, you have the lobby, I have the shooting gallery. So why would we need another DVC lounge? I don't know. But
Tony says they found out she was from Alaska and they just turned the service on, and she got a grapefruit mocktail. And Karen says she misses the Wave. I don't think I ever got to eat at the Wave. I don't think we.
I miss a couple of the dishes they had at the Wave. They had some good. They did have some good meals. I was glad to see Steakhouse kept the secret menu item from the Wave.
That? Well, tell us what's that.
The pork belly and the egg. It's on the menu at Steakhouse, and that used to be a unspoken item hidden on the Wave menu, but everybody asked for it.
Yeah, we are. It's funny when people ask about what like my sister's going in April, and I'm going to go down and I'm going to check out Shades of Green, which is cool because her husband's a Master Chief. Thanks for your service, so I get to go check that out and hang out with them. But I tried to explain Lightning Lane to him. I was like, maybe I'll just come with you. Like maybe it'd be easier the first day if I just got on the app with you, showed you how to do it, and then set you free. But I'm like, where are we eating? And they're like, well, we'll just, no. We're not going to, we're not, we'll just anything. We are going to plan this out. We're going to find some restaurants. Because to us, honestly, resorts and food might be more important than our park days at this point. Like right now, at least.
Yes.
Like
our biggest discussion right now is why the Magic Kingdom has such horrible food.
You make a valid point. Like I will say that the one place that I have been impressed with the last few times I've eaten at the Magic Kingdom, though, Skipper Canteen is a
Yeah.
fun environment, and the
Yep.
food,
Yes, it is very much.
and they do a great job. But there's other sit downs in Magic Kingdom that are just so
Horrible.
disappointing for what they are. Um, and I see we personally feel that way as well about Hollywood Studios. To be totally honest with you, that's another one
Yeah,
we struggle with food. We wind up at quick service a lot, or we boat over to Beaches and Cream or to the boardwalk and go to Trattoria,
yep.
because we like both of those options as well. Beaches and Cream is just great because it's the equivalent of quick service, but you get sit down experience. It's not the greatest food, but it's nice just to be able to sit, get in the AC,
There's
and relax.
atmosphere.
Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah.
We ate at my kid and I ate at Pecos Bills for dinner. We didn't have a reservation because I typically do a big lunch and then figure out quick service. I love I saw Tony mentioned it earlier. I love Columbia Harbor House.
Okay.
I think the only complaint I have there is the fries greenhorns. Tony Karen said greenhorns, and I thought it was a restaurant. Like, where's greenhorns? But she meant they were greenhorns as in have not, amateurs. But I think that lobster roll is pretty good. Like I don't have a problem with that. And I can eat that in a pinch. We ate at Pecos Bills, and again, my kid had some vegan item that she liked, and I ate a burger. I admit I like bad cheeseburgers. Like I like a heat lamp wrapped in foil cheeseburger. I know it's I would I choose anywhere else over that? Yeah, absolutely. But for me to go grab a burger that I know is not, from Cosmic Rays or whatever, my wife hates Starlight Cafe. She won't even walk by it, much less go in it. It's well, and we went for I think it was a Halloween party, and they had some kind of special burger with a black bun, and it really was bad. It was so bad.
Oh, the
it
monster
was just
burger.
not good.
Yeah.
But it's a crummy cheeseburger that I happen to like. It's the busiest fast food restaurant on the planet. I can cut them some slack. But yeah, I mean, we typically leave to eat at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone. I mean, that's one of the hidden gems too with Geyser Point, because it's easy to get a reservation over there. You can do a walk-in pretty quick, pretty easy, and it's the quick 5-10 minute boat ride. You got a beautiful place to sit. It's quiet. You can
Right.
calm down, get away from the edge of people everywhere, and then have the opportunity to go right back over to Magic Kingdom and enjoy it. And to that point, the new DVC bar, at the Hawaiian Tower at the Polynesian there, the restaurant down there and the bar is the same way. You walk in, you grab a seat, you just grab a seat at the bar as they come available, and it's great for a quick meal, quick dinner, and it gives you that nice break with a beautiful view. We've gone in to watch the fireworks from there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we sit and hang out, watch the fireworks, and then we go home.
And
we
we have
have crowds.
we have a whole, and I stopped doing videos on it because I did we do it 4 or 5 times in a row, where we'll start at the Polynesian at Captain Cook's and get those meatballs, and then go over to Floridian, which my kid says is the best mac and cheese on property. Like, no matter where you go, she says that Gasparilla's is the best, and then finish up at the Contemporary. And we haven't done it in the last 6 months, but they had a flatbread barbecue chicken pizza with this apple. Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable.
It's
It's
very
so
good.
good. And then you're not paying $200 a meal, to sit down,
Sure.
and you get to ride on the monorail, which no.
So in February, when we were down, you couldn't get into Captain Cook's unless you were staying at the
Really?
Poly. They were checking wristbands at the
They some
because I wanted to go get meatballs.
Sometimes they get super strict about it. We've run into that even as locals, because we'll go to different resorts and we'll make our reservation and we go in. But we've even had, I've grabbed the walk up, time with a return, and we go to walk up, and if we're in our car, they're like, no walk ups if you're driving in, and they've rejected us from going in. And we had
Wow.
to scramble and try to grab a last minute reservation, and then figure it out. But yeah, they're this time of year too. Just the crowds are getting steep enough that
Yeah.
it breaks crazy. It's nuts down here right now.
So if you're at Magic Kingdom and you're saying you take the monorail around to the Polynesian, they won't let you order in Captain Cook's. You can get off, walk around the hotel, but you cannot order quick service.
They'll walk up, they'll scan your band. If it says you're not a
it
poly
to-
guest or the tower, they'll shoot you in.
totally depends on the crowd.
Huh.
Like, but if it's crowded, yeah, they won't let you. There's a couple other restaurants that'll pause
I guess that's okay because the Polynesian is by far my favorite resort, except for the lobby. And if I'm staying there and I want to grab something for the kids and I can't get food because the line's so long, I could see where limiting it as an amenity would be okay. That makes sense. I've never had it happen. That would be weird. I don't know how I'd feel about it in the moment.
Yeah, it was weird. I walked up. I was like, I just want to get some meat. Walked up. I was
Wow.
like, okay. I was like, can I have mobile order? Nope.
Well, and that's the problem. Again, not a complaint. Just a little thinking about things. I really think they missed the boat by not increasing and putting a huge pool at that new Polynesian tower because that pool is crowded. Like the Polynesian pool, you want to sit down, good luck. I mean, it's tough. It's small. Even the quiet pool gets busy. And they really made a very tiny pool for that tower. And I feel like
the Moana area of that pool is really well done, though.
Yeah, really cool.
For the Moana,
I just
especially at night.
They needed some space, right? Like we just stayed at Animal Kingdom. That's a gorgeous pool at Jumbo House.
Yeah.
That's a big pool.
I think to your point, I think one of the, and we discussed this a little bit before, but, it seems Disney has overlooked some basic infrastructure needs with all this growth.
Right.
And they have to start addressing it, whether it be transportation, whether it be, to your point, pools and relaxation areas at the hotels. You're adding hundreds of guests in small spaces, and people want to go enjoy that pool. That you're right. You're either down there at 8 a.m. getting your seat or you're standing. So
yeah, and I feel like, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. A lot of places are targeting way upper middle class, right? If not just wealthy. Like I watched a thing real quickly. I won't completely go back through it, but at Vegas, there's a lot of YouTube videos. Vegas is dying, attendance is down. And it's true. They have less numbers going there, but the folks that are going have tons more money and they're actually more profitable with less people.
Yep.
And I've been in the hospitality industry for a long time. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but if you're going to draw those people want amenities, right? And they want a place to go, like you're saying. They want a chair and they might want it reserved if they're at club level. So if you're going to really shoot for the moon and get that kind of clientele, there's not enough geography for it right now.
Well, and with the new CEO changeover right now, I mean, you went from the Bob Chapek school of thought where that was kind of the direction he was going. We'll make more money with fewer people, and let's pump up everything and charge more. And Iger brought it back down to a little bit, but still there wasn't. I think the masses still wanted more back than what they were getting, and you see the questions all the time, if you could take anything Disney had changed in the last 25 years, what would you change? What would you bring back? What would you do? And, there's a lot of basics to that I think, the dark place, as someone called it down the street, does a better job with, if you stay at a luxury resort, one of the top end resorts, you get express, those kind of things do matter. I think, where Disney had it for a while with your paid admission, you get your 3 fast passes. I don't think they need to go back to maybe that, but at very least, you should get 1 or 2 rides in a park every day that you're able to express. Like go through the lightning lane. You should get that included in your ticket.
At
If
least
you want
once, right? I mean,
at least one, you know,
Or bring back extra magic hour for deluxe guests.
they have
well,
those.
it'd be,
And a half hour before
No,
is
deluxe guests.
horrible.
Yeah,
3 hours
it's
after.
3 hours after. We didn't do it, but I think Epcot. I think it was only 2 hours. I think Epcot was open till 11 the night we were there, instead of 9 for deluxe guest resort guests.
Yeah, but you should just be if you were a deluxe guest, you're the only ones there. That
And
was
I'd
part of
like
the
to
perk.
see. I would love to go behind the curtain, right? Oh, look, see, you've got fans. Look, Matthew said it's the Hawk. Such a cool name. I'm so jealous. That now Matthew distract me. See, this is how the show changes angles. I'd love to see behind. So we went to Disneyland this summer, and man, Lightning Lane works there. Oh, and I know it's a different park. I get it. It's a locals park. It truly is. I absolutely understand that it can't be the same because of the sheer amount of people. And I think people vacation differently in Orlando. I mean, there's so many differences, but buying that was a no-brainer. It worked so well. It was so simple. And you still got lightning lanes, I almost said fast pass, at like midnight. So the park was open till 12, and 11:32, we got one more before it ended to go jump on something. Yeah, Karen's right. Exactly. Squirrel, and we're gone. So I still think, I have this mix of walking through a lightning lane line, and we don't do it very often anymore. But when you do, you feel a little bit like royalty, and it's awesome. And then sometimes I'm kind of hiding my face because I feel so guilty at all these sweaty parents who are waiting in line. And I'm just passing them by.
but I think giving everybody, the one opportunity, because listen, you got a family of 5, and you got a max lightning lane cost.
Right.
Is Tron worth another 140 or 100? You know what I mean? You're already paying very high prices, very high ticket price. I don't think it'd be a problem for one lightning lane to be in there.
To figure it out.
I think that's acceptable. Disneyland, to your point, I think this week just removed their park hopping restrictions finally. So they were at like 11 o'clock you had to wait to, and I think now they're totally gone. So you can just park hop whenever again at Disneyland too.
Yeah, I agree. I think every family, as much as I don't care if you're staying, in the Motel 6, for what you're paying for those park tickets, I think everybody deserves to feel like royalty at least once.
And even if you do it to on-property guests or
Right.
whatever, put you have to be at a deluxe resort for all I care, but
Chris,
do something that doesn't cost extra money.
right. And Chris says Tron isn't worth the price. And I agree. I very much love Tron. I love walking in the area. I love that movie as a kid. I think it's a great short ride.
I wish it would have gone through twice.
Short.
Yeah, it would have been the right.
Yeah.
If you could have done it once on one team and once on the other, and then kind of figure out which one you get it right at the end, that would have been a cool little twist.
Oh, that would have been really cool.
That would have been cool.
It's
But-
yeah, it's tough. I like that the chat's talking about moose sausage. Like
I think one of the things that I struggle with is the copycat, the replication, the same. And there's times where I think they should do the same thing in multiple parks, and they never seem to choose the right thing. It just blows my mind. I wish we could, be the fly on the wall, be in those meetings and have those conversations as to this is wildly successful and people want it. Like, why would we not just go with what's safe?
I saw the new Rapunzel area in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
It is ridiculous. I'm like, why can't we get anything like that out in Florida? We get the basic stuff.
We had a friend.
But you look, they got,
Go ahead.
like Lou was talking about the new Frozen and the stuff they did with Olaf. Well, that'll be 10 years before we see anything like that. I don't understand.
It
Why?
is. It is interesting. Even break it down to just the food, right? Like, I mean, Disney has to be saving a ton of money on advertising by letting, content creators go in there and just running even regular folks on Instagram. And you see some of these things from Tokyo Disney Sea, some of the food they do, you don't even want to eat it because it's so beautiful. I mean, it's just an
Yeah,
advertisement for the park, and they don't, why wouldn't you can make it?
we get rubbery churros. Oh, great, thanks.
Why not just make it here? Like it is an interesting choice to not mirror. Like if I had three locations of a restaurant and the Oysters Rockefeller sold really well over here, then I'd probably try it at the other two locations to see, how it work out.
Yep.
It just seems like what they choose to copy is not the right decision. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
No, it
Like
does.
they
Yeah.
copy weird stuff that I'm like, wait a minute, like you could have done it different and that would have been a great. I was glad they brought Tron here. I
Hmm.
was glad they brought Tron to Magic Kingdom,
Yeah.
and I think Tomorrowland desperately needed an addition to of modernization, and we're getting that a little bit now with Buzz being updated and some other things going on. But Tron, they brought it in; it was great, but that's still a cookie cutter ride of another park.
Right.
And you have
Well,
Cars Land, which I think they missed the boat. I think
okay.
Cars Land.
You read my mind because that was my question. So, our buddy Lou always says he's glad that it's not here, that you have to go to California to see it. And I do like some separation, right? Like this is a dumb thing, and please don't let me get so distracted I forget to ask you about Cars Land because that's exactly where I was going. Like you again, get out of my head. Um, I don't like, and I understand it I really do. I don't like that my bag doesn't say I don't like the Disney Parks brand, right? I like Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And I want each thing to be kind of separate as a little memento. But I mean, they probably saved $4 million in printing costs alone by just printing bags that say Disney Parks. But would you have voted to have, if you were on the board, to put a Cars Land here in Orlando?
100%.
Yeah, it might be their best themed area ever, right?
And it would have tied perfectly right out behind Big Thunder Mountain where they're choosing to put Villains Land. Made no sense.
Which I still don't get Villains Land at all. I don't understand. Hey kids,
But
let's
that's
go see
okay.
that.
And so,
Which
I
I'm a,
get that.
I'm a Darth
I
Vader
get
guy.
that.
right.
I'm a Darth Vader guy, but
So
I don't know.
it is something that it's not unappealing. I'm not against it, right? But I'm not excited about it. I'm sure when it gets there, it'll be awesome and I'll love it and I'll go and it'll be cool. And like the villains show, that little show they're doing over there beside Rock and Roller Coaster.
Tater.
You know, that's a cool show. Like I was really into it. I love Hook. I love Cruella. She's a great villain. Although, side note, I do think it's funny on 101 Dalmatians that they warn you about that there is tobacco depictions in the movie, but not about the sociopath puppy killer that's going to make a coat out of your dog. There's no warning for that. So, fire right in. But this guy smokes a pipe and we're concerned about, I just thought that was such a weird thing. But so, and I know,
Warning.
right, that there are a lot of people who love these villains. Like there's been a begging for a whole fifth gate of villains. So I know it's not for me, right? And that's okay. It doesn't have to be.
Right.
And I certainly want it to be successful. I'm sure there are folks who don't care about Star Wars. I don't know who they are. I don't know how they've lived this long, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere, right?
In a planet far, far
right.
away.
Yeah, I agree with Andrew Prince says that they're a Muppet area where the villain show is now. I am really, really hoping that they just port Muppet 3D over. It's a good show.
Yeah.
And
Please.
I'm curious to what you guys think of this too, because the other thing I think Disney is lacking right now with Disney World is the story, continuity
Yes.
in the park. Because
Yep.
you got Indy and Hollywood Studios, now you're going to have Indy over in Animal Kingdom. in my opinion, they should be in one park. Like that should be in one area. If you're gonna put the Muppets down there, get rid of the villain show, pull that out, and that should be some kind of Muppet show. To your point, um, you know, the continuity is just starting to struggle. You're losing the story because they're just kind of throwing stuff into places, and it feels as though some of Walt's original vision gets lost. And I understand it's not Walt's park anymore. I
Right.
mean, I get that. And the reality is people need to stop. Walt would roll over in his grave. Walt would be thrilled he's making the money he's making. That man was a businessman. He may not be thrilled with the price. He might have done some things differently. We will never know. But he was a the best storyteller, making you feel immersed. And the continuity and flow of parks is getting scrambled, and I
Yeah.
really hope they strive to bring it back.
That's it's and that's the thing, right? Like God or the devil, however you look at it, is in the details, right? And those transitions from Main Street, from into Adventureland, around to Fantasyland, going into Tomorrowland, it's magic, dude. Like it truly is transformative, and it's not just because I love it, right? Like I'm a little biased. And even though I am super positive, I'm not a Disney apologist per se, right? So I don't mind talking about when things are not perfect. But but one of my favorite places in all of Disney dumb that I've been to, West Coast, East Coast, is walking into Adventureland because it's like being teleported. And that's really a really cool effect that just took some thought, right? A little bit of music, a little bit of decoration, and they found a way to really do that. And they're I feel like sometimes it's the little stuff that's getting lost, right? It's the little things that maybe you don't even see. Like I just read, I think I've said this every week on the show since I read it, but I just read 3 Years in Wonderland, which is an awesome book. And in there, he was talking about how Walt got really upset because CV, and I've already forgotten his name, the original general manager of Disneyland, he was more looking at success at the bottom line, right? And what's up, James? My buddy James Sanders pops in. See, I need to not look at the chat, but I know he's not listening. He's scrolling through Facebook and saw that my face, and that's why he stopped. Which is fine. We love you too. But Walt didn't care about the money. He wasn't trying to make money today. He was trying to make a park that had zero competition, that there would be nothing else like. And I look, I'm not against Universal. Like I haven't been, but I'm not against it. I think it's cool that it's there, but it's not the same. Like it's apples and oranges. Those two parks from what I've seen, it's just different. Are they both theme parks? Yeah, but it's different, right? Like the people who go to Disney make fun of it for a reason. And the same way that Universal people who love thrill rides make fun of Disney. There's something different going on there. But Walt didn't want to make money. That wasn't his metric, right? He wanted to build this thing that would make money 50 years from now, 60 years from now. It'd still be making money. And it's the little bridges and little waterfalls to nowhere and all these little things that just add up to this amazing place that I spend every Tuesday night talking about, for an hour or so. I mean, it's incredible what they created.
I will say one thing that happened down the street was building Epic brought theming to another level yet again that Harry Potter had done with Universal and immersion and immersive theming. Disney did it and answered very well, in my opinion, with Star Wars. I think there's things that they could have done better in Star Wars, and I think there's changes that are coming that I'm glad to see. But Universal showed what real immersion could feel like. If you go into Diagon Alley in Universal Studios, I mean, you literally walk into the Harry Potter movie. There's no questioning it. It's amazing. And what Epic did is brought that to 5 different lands, and the portal concept was very well done because you step away and then you step into, and you are immersed in that. And I
Ah,
think that is what Disney is lacking a little bit. And I think that's what they're fighting to create now. But I think they're playing catch up more than being the pioneer than ever before for Disney standards. Disney was always the pioneer when it came to theme parks. They were always the one that set the bar. They were always the one that created the new technology. Universal is now at a point where they're rivaling that and they're pushing Disney to be better. So the one good thing about the place down the street versus Walt Disney World is the fact that they're forcing each other to
right,
elevate their game and the guests win.
right. That's 100% true. Yeah, you need competition, right? A, it keeps prices low. Like that's the only thing. Otherwise, it would.
I don't think that works.
Well,
Yeah,
I
lower,
don't think that works out
lower
for
than they
either of
would
those.
be. I mean, if it was just if Disney was just Orlando and there was nothing else to do, besides International Drive or something, I mean, we'd all be in a lot of trouble. But you're right, it does drive them, and they steal from each other, right? Like they steal people, and Imagineers go back and forth, and employees, and I think
A
Karen
lot of
has
a
told us
lot
where
of
they
people
train
work
each
at
other.
both.
Yeah,
A lot of people work at both. I know plenty of people that
Yep.
work at both.
We got to think Universal, they're movie people, so they're going to be immersive in everything they do, and they do a very good job because we've been there. At Disney, they're in the magic in the movies. You would think they'd have for a long time it had an edge, and then Universal slowly starting to turn it. But the one thing that Epic didn't have, and people are complaining about it, it's something very very small.
Hmm.
Shade. There is no shade
Well,
at Epic.
if you remember Toy Story Land when they first opened that got
Yeah,
ridiculous
there was nothing.
got ridiculous heat for not having shade,
Yes,
but they had to
right,
bring it, and you wonder, like I wonder, we've had this conversation too. How does that happen? Because they built Epic after Toy Story Land, and Toy Story Land had
right.
that problem from jump. So you would have thought that was far more thought out, and they would have been prepared for it. Now there's a ton of trees at Epic that will grow higher and provide
Right.
shade and everything
Yep,
else.
you gotta have time,
But
right?
I'm gonna be
But the current situation is that's a concrete heat pad. What
Well,
that
we have
is.
it here, and we have Busch Gardens, which is, I think, one most beautiful park in America. I don't know how many times, and it's gorgeous. And I did some work there when I had a company, and we worked with some of the engineers there, and Augustus Bush had said, he's like, I don't have the characters like Walt has, so I'll never have that kind of attendance, but I can make my park just as beautiful as his. That was his goal in Busch Gardens. And then you have King's Dominion, which, gosh, I don't even know who owns that anymore. Because they used to have Scooby Doo and those characters. It used to be Paramount, maybe. Anyway,
Paramount
it is
owned it for
just
a
a
while.
big slab of concrete, and it is so hot, and it's been there for a long time, and those trees have not grown in the way they wanted. I mean, it's
I
different.
just think of all the technology that both these companies own, they do all these surveys and they question the partner what they need. And in the middle of July, you need water and shade.
well, I mean,
And it's just like,
go ahead. Andrew.
go ahead.
I was just
No, just you need water and shade, and it's always second nature to do. Oh, we didn't know that this was going to be a problem. You're in Orlando, Florida. It averages 100 degrees in the summertime.
Well,
so
and
any,
Andrew's saying real
any-
quick, he's saying that the studios doesn't have shade, and he finds that hotter than Animal Kingdom.
it's funny that you talk about that though, but it's these Imagineers are so creative and they do so much stuff. But it's amazing how when you get hyper focused on a certain part of your job or your mission, that it's so easy to overlook something else. And it's not even necessarily that maybe it wasn't talked about. It's just not enough people communicated about it to
Right.
prioritize it. I'm sure it was thought of, but then someone said, well, we're going to do this. Oh, well, we won't do that then. And this changes. And all of a sudden you're like, we got through this whole process and nobody remembered to bring up the trees, like,
Yeah.
and you start to understand that it's not uncommon for this stuff to happen because we've seen it just in the last 5 years happen 3 different times. So you start to see it pop like that, and you're like, where do they learn? Like what is the
Right.
focus? What's it going to take? And I'm sure if enough people talk about it, it will start
Right.
to get resolved. But I mean, 200 umbrellas in Toy Story Land wasn't the best way to
Yeah.
do it. I mean, they finally redid Woody's to have all the different tarps and block and setup to get paid over
Right.
that. But that was umbrellas for what, 5 years, 5 years?
I mean,
You
they've.
know?
Yep.
You can see it again. The views of myself may not be representative of this podcast, but it seems to me like you can really look and see when the Imagineers got to do what they wanted and when the accountants got to do what they wanted. And I'm sure,
Oh yeah.
like
Hello,
I looked
Epcot.
into a franchise for Culver's. I like Culver's Butterburger. I think it's a good restaurant. I think it's healthy is not the right word, but I think it's better quality. And so we looked into opening one up here. And when you look at a franchise, there's kind of a formula for how many cars go by at what hours, and there's this metric. It doesn't even say like, oh, is the area safe or good? Is it near? It's really there's a weird formula that probably works 90% of the time, and then there's 10% where it doesn't work. And I feel like you can kind of look around and go, oh, like Communicore Hall. Like I'm sure that checked boxes and there was an idea, but it wasn't, it's under Imagineered, right? To me, like that. And again, I don't have an artist's eye. My kid does, but in art school, thinks the Riviera is under Imagineered. It's a beautiful hotel, but is it a Disney hotel? And she's like, look, no, it's a big box with a really nice awning and pretty. The rooms were pretty, a small lobby and a weak theme. Oh, Walt and Lillian went to the Riviera. So we'll put some pictures up and there's the story. Whereas even something like the Country Bears Jamboree, the story that the place was abandoned and the bears took over and then they started a show and that's why there's claw marks on the floor. I mean, these incredible details that, there's a big group of people that go once and maybe never go back. And then there's a group that goes yearly. And then there's folks like us who I find out something new every single time I go there. And that story is so layered and so deep that, I keep going back looking for it. I'm always looking for a new book to read or some new fact to find out or find out how something was made, and we brought, again, I feel like I repeat myself, but that Haunted Mansion queue in California is bad. Like it looks like Lowe's. It looks like they went to Lowe's and bought the Halloween decorations and nailed them up and moved on.
I think you bring up a great point about, like when the accountants take over versus the Imagineers. But, you wonder how, how does that get affected? What are they being told? Because they have under promised. When you see the concept art for Disney,
Right.
it looks so incredible. And then when they show you what you actually get, 9 times out of 10, it's like 50% of what that concept art was. And
Yep.
what Disney has to do this time right now, like with the new stuff they're doing, and they have to do it.
It's true.
Put out concept art in their world. I mean, you could put the concept art next to the actual picture, and it's identical. Like Disney needs
Yep.
to do that this time around. Disney has an opportunity to regain the top tier status in Orlando at very least with all these projects going on. They cannot come out halfway
Right.
with to your point, everybody has clamored for Villains Land and wanted a fifth gate and all this stuff. And already, if you follow the news, it's being
They're
already
changing.
being reworked because they felt like it was
Yep.
going to be underwhelming and not be enough.
Well,
So
and that's the
hopefully,
thing, right? Is that like again, and this isn't really okay. And Andrew's
you're
right.
still growing.
So Beacon Barrel is what the rest of everything should look like.
Yes.
Like we just went there for the first time. Will I go to that every time? No, I don't need to go every time, but it was awesome. My kid thought it was awesome. I just walked around and stared. The staff was incredible. The theming was perfect. I mean, it's really well done. I've not been on the cruise to see the Haunted Mansion lounge, but if they can do a lounge, they can do a land, right? Like that. I mean, it can be done.
One of our friends just brought this back for us. He did the inaugural sail, and he actually wound up going back to back. He did 2 cruises on the new adventure.
I think Chris has summed it up here perfectly, and I'm only read these because I do this as audio as well. But whatever you do, do it well. Do it so well that when people see you do it, they want to come back and see you do it again, and they will want to bring others and show them how well you do that. I mean, we know who said that, and it's exactly true. And there's so much. Like I was walking around Epcot as one does, and the difference to me, and I haven't been to Universal, I haven't seen Diagon Alley, so that might be the exception to prove the rule. But Disney feels real, even compared to Disneyland. Like Disneyland feels small in the best way possible. It's not a slam at all, but it feels like a caricature. Whereas Main Street in Orlando, I kind of feel like that's a real town. Like it feels different. Adventureland feels like the Swiss Family Robinson just left that treehouse to go grab food dinner, right? You know, I mean, I know it's not. I'm not stupid, but or the
Well, you
queue,
might have been to him at Skipper Canteen. You never know.
right? Exactly. They could be over there enjoying a nice meal. The Jungle Cruise queue feels real. You know, Space Mountain still feels modern, even though we know it's not. You know, and that's the thing. Again, I think it goes back. Yes, a lot of money, but also those little details, the little extra things that you don't need unless you want to tell a complete story.
I agree. 100.
100%.
And that quote was from Walt Disney. I figured probably not everybody would know that, but most people, all of us do, certainly that Chris put on. But and that's what he did, right? He did everything well, and you figure out how to do. But I mean, again, I really would love to see. I'm really hopeful for Josh tomorrow. He seems like the kind of guy we want steering the ship, right? He seems like he loves the fans.
Yeah, and he did so good in parks management, and he was very popular with crowds and the people. I think he's got a great opportunity. I hope he's not. Even the CEO is controlled, right? Like that,
True.
it's not just what you want. You're still answering to shareholders and stakeholders and other positions. You're having conversations. So I hope he can do what every Disney fan thinks he's able.
Yes.
Like
Oh, 100%.
And look, I went back to the summer camp that I went to as a kid, and I joined the board as an adult, and I'll never do that again. I am not designed for committee work. Either put me in charge or put me at the bottom. I cannot reside in the middle. Like Han Solo, right? No time for the committee. But I do understand that things go on we don't know about, right? And that was the thing. This was a church camp, and the mission, the ministry was so important to so many people. But if it doesn't make money, then there's no summer camp, right? If and they built a conference center with it, and it was so bad. And frankly, the things that charged the most made the least money. You know, the summer camp was full, and the summer camp was self-sufficient. You know, it really did a good job. And then the depreciation, and everything else on the other side was bad. But if we didn't have that thing, then I also knew that the treasurer wasn't going to allow money for the summer camp. And so there may be, and there is, plenty of things going on that you're right. Josh can't control. He can't tell the board to go jump in a lake. I'm building this the way I want to build it. No one will ever be Walt again unless someone opens up a new park. I was hoping though that there would be that combination again, right? That Roy Walt,
Yeah.
Eisner. Oh my gosh, the names I can't think of his name. Who was Eisner's? Died in a helicopter crash. Oh my gosh.
We're all having
Holy moly. We're all having a brain freeze.
Just pause the show while I look this up because it's going to drive me crazy.
So, Andrew, you were saying before we went live, you're excited to see the new Daredevil show
Yes.
season.
Yes, I am.
While Tater,
Yes. Well, what got me up on that was watching the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie. Because at the end, it's got the ninjas from Daredevil, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So yeah, I've got a feeling when Born Again is going to have some type of connection to Spider-Man.
Is it bad that I
least
didn't
that's
finish
my
the
hope.
first season?
it's not bad.
Frank
No,
Wells.
it's not bad.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Karen. Karen got it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Frank
look at
Wells.
the chat. I knew somebody in the chat would know it. Frank Wells. No, and look, I love Lou, and I will follow him blindly into the breach every time. But I tried, and I didn't finish it. I didn't dislike it, but I feel like maybe something else popped up, and I need to go back and watch it. I have not seen.
Well,
I don't think it was. I like the first version of Daredevil the best.
Okay.
The Born Again was okay. It wasn't
Yeah.
as intriguing for me, but I'm hoping that they amped it up a little bit again, and we'll see what they come up with, because there's great potential
Yeah.
there. I love the mid-level characters that Disney is really focused to tell the story of through all these Marvel and different shows that they've had over the last few years. It's been a lot of fun to kind of go to different places, whether it's WandaVision or like all the different things they've done. We've enjoyed pretty much all of them.
Did you watch Wonder Man?
We couldn't get into that one.
I loved it.
Yeah, that's a
I
weird one.
really liked that.
Really?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought
you were saying you loved it. That's why we started watching it. You had such rave in it,
so.
and I got to like episode 5 and was like, I just can't.
Don't care. I'm a weirdo, first of all. So maybe don't always take my recommendations. I like pretty strange things. But the thing about it was that my complaint with a lot of these series is I think the dialogue's bad, right? Like I wanted to be a writer when I was younger. And so even though I wasn't good at it, I know what I like. And sometimes the bad dialogue just drags me right out. If it doesn't feel real, if it doesn't flow, I did like WandaVision, and I liked Hawkeye. I did not like Falcon and Winter Soldier because I felt like the dialogue didn't feel great. And look, they made
I feel like that was
they made
pushed on us,
so many
too.
shows that any of them are any good is amazing. Like they really did an incredible job. If you think about how prolific they were, they're like the Beatles. I mean, so many really, really good things, but Wonder Man to me, for some reason spoke. And I just thought it was really, really well written. I felt like, and that's why I need to go back and watch Andor as well, because everyone says Andor is incredible.
Oh, Andor
And I
was
have
awesome.
not watched it.
Yeah, it was well done. I think to your point, that the thing that always astounds me with Marvel is the interconnection of the story having been done so well, being thrown over literally decades of movie making, show making, everything else to tie everything together. It's just so incredibly done. I mean, that's even more than Star Wars did. Like it's just the interaction and the storytelling and the going back to different timelines, going back to different genres and eras. It was just so well done. I love what they did with Marvel.
Yeah, because Marvel, the Iron Man came out in 2008, so for
That's
17
crazy.
years they had straight success. That's
And I
Yeah,
awesome.
felt
and
like
then they hit that like real weak run where you
yeah.
know it really, like, it was almost, as a Marvel fan, it was almost heartbreaking that you're like, how can they put out stuff this bad? And
Right.
there was a quite a few movies that we were all amped up and we went to the theater and went on opening night and we're like, what just happened?
What was that? What was the
What was
last
this?
one with
Yeah.
Thundercats? Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolt?
That
I
one
I
wasn't bad.
yeah,
That
I
was
thought
good.
that
Like
I
That
thought
was
they did a
good.
good job. I felt like that had kind of the same kind of Iron Man funny, like the humor was so important in those movies. They did such a good job with that. And I felt like that was a great story and they did a really good job.
But, like, one thing that got me during COVID, like, I'll put Solo up there. I think
I do
Solo had a
too.
great concept and a great movie. But you put out there COVID and you cut budgets and all this stuff, so it isn't going to be
No, I
good.
liked it as well.
yeah,
I liked Solo and Rebel One.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
Rogue One, yeah, both of those were good. But just, then you got, you Black Widow,
I
horrible
know,
movie.
and I
And I was just like, okay, we didn't learn from some of these other movies like Hello, Incredible Hulk. You made that twice and it
right.
still wasn't good.
well, it is good to see. Someone just commented, it's good to see that Disney's back in the number one spot in the theaters.
Have you seen Hoppers yet?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
I haven't either. My kid was at Pixar last summer. Did I mention that? Did I mention my kid
Yeah,
went to Pixar?
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I say it all
Couple
the time.
times, maybe.
And they'd already seen it and said it was awesome. And then there's some other stuff coming that might be good too, which I'm
Yeah.
excited about. But I get in trouble, and since she's looking for a job, I don't want to do that. But she hasn't told me, but she said there's a movie coming that particularly I'm going to love. And it's amazing to watch from the background to see how much those stories change. Like Tony was saying, how they had, wrote a completely different storyline during COVID, that
Yeah.
things move around
Yeah.
or, they write it and some executive doesn't like it and the animators don't get to do what they want to do, just like the engineers don't get to do what they want to do. And,
And then the accountant comes and
the
everything
accountant-
goes to crap.
and then it's all gone. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Villains Land is very formulaic, right? Let's do a crazy ride, a dark ride, and then a restaurant,
Right.
stamp. And then we're going to do something else with the same thing. So, but look, I think Disney did a bunch of boat rides. How many of those do we have? And I'll still go on Small Ride or Small World and Pirates and Three Caballeros and love every one of them, Frozen or Maelstrom, depending on where you're from, that's just another boat ride with a drop, a bigger drop. I mean, they did a lot of those and they still seem pretty good. So maybe all this stuff will grow on me.
Do you ride It's a Small Otherworld?
It's a Small Otherworld.
Yeah, Navi River.
Oh yes, I do.
Oh.
And I like it.
Yeah.
Like my complaint for that one is it's too short. Like I just find it really relaxing and beautiful. And it's not the best ride they've ever done. I won't wait long for it, but I do
No.
like going in there and it's relaxing and the music's nice. It's an incredible animatronic. I mean, it's cool.
I like that one. I can't do It's a Small World, though. I have too much PTSD from that one.
I can understand. And I did get trapped in 1975 on that for 45 minutes. Like we were stuck. Yep.
Oh, no.
My grandmother, before she passed away, she'd bring it up once a year, how we were stuck on that ride forever. But I just walk around now, dun, 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 out of nowhere. I have a little tick.
Any
Well-
evacuations for any
What's
of
that?
you? You ever been evacuated off a ride?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What'd you have, Andrew? What'd you get evacuated?
Big Buzz Lightyear
Ooh.
during the Halloween party.
Okay, very.
We sat there for 20 minutes and I just saw this little spider deal just kind of jumping around.
Did you
This little
did you get
target.
to max out your points?
No. They zeroed him out. I was like, okay.
How
I
about
like-
you, Tater?
We had a good one on Splash Mountain where we were way deep into it and came out the back and I got yelled at for taking pictures backstage. I didn't know. It was
My wife and
So you
daughter
had to
got
walk through. Yeah,
stuck on.
we
Oh, the back. Oh,
we got evacuated off Tiana's right after they opened, and same thing. But one of my friends had a cell phone and was like, put it in the pocket with the lens out, was recording. Someone else had, popping these. But everybody was getting pretty well yelled at. We were all trying to get a snapshot of something. But it was neat. It stunk because we were out there for almost an hour in 95-degree heat, and they had shut down all the water. So we were right next to the waterfall, which at first was really nice, and then they shut it down, and then we just
Oh,
cooked. So we just sat out there, but that was
six,
that was interesting.
6 times on Carousel of Progress for Andrew. That's now is the time. Now is the best time to get off that ride.
That was
Well,
the real night that day, Andrew.
yeah, yeah. Ugh. Hawk, tell us where, because it's been an hour, and I never eat dinner before these. I don't know why. I keep saying I'm going to. Tell us where everybody can find you and what you do.
We have a podcast on Tuesday nights that
Oh,
started about 20 minutes ago. 8:30 p.m. Mousecast, Mousekast, and you can find us on YouTube and Mousecast 2025 on Facebook. And we go live as well. This week we had a pre-recorded show because one, I was doing this, and Chuck was down in the great state of Florida enjoying his family Disney World trip. So
Nice.
we do that every Tuesday.
cool. Well, I am subscribed now.
I will be here in a minute.
It's cool because I do look for other things, and having gotten into this little group, I keep meeting new people that I'd never heard of. Like, if you haven't heard of our buddy Jeremy Stein, I've got his book right here that he just
Right on the way.
and so he does Main Street Magic, and we love him to death. And of course, Matthew at married to a Disney addict. I mean, he and his wife are great. Just it's such a neat community. It was something that I was really hoping for. Not that I'm in the inner circle with all the folks that do big stuff. I mean, it's still pretty small time, but I really like Brian. I met him on Matthew's podcast, and I was like, oh, I want to talk more to this guy. Like, I could have talked to you all night that night and just taken over the
Yeah,
show.
we had a blast. That was a fun episode.
So even if you can't make it on Tuesday nights, I might pre-record something with you just to have it, because it's fun. And you've got, like, once I knew that you wanted to route the Skyliner through Animal Kingdom, and then I started looking at the map and realizing how good of an idea that was. I've got
Very
some
good
drawings in place now that we may need to get going. So, but yeah, please check out Mousecast, and you're working on some new stuff too, aren't you? You've got some other things coming up.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that
Okay.
hold that for now. But yeah, we're looking at some stuff. Very excited for what's coming.
Cool.
It won't be just Disney either. It's gonna be a
Just mostly Disney.
little yeah, most of it. I can't take that. That one's taken.
Right. Well, you shouldn't, because now I can't print any T-shirts with the word Disney on it. So all my merch, I've got to rebrand as BMD, and I didn't. I'd already gotten all the websites, and I mean, I own but mostly Disney, except for one dude who still pops up. And he had a podcast for a little while, and if you Google but mostly Disney, he's like the third thing down. A podcast for all things but mostly Disney, and he hasn't put one up in I don't know how long. I just want to erase him. September 24. He hadn't done anything. He did do 64 episodes. That's pretty good, because I think this is 60 for us.
60.
All right, Andrew, how's Andrew's, if you don't know, has the best name for a YouTube channel, which is Mouse Gears, because he does Disney and car restoration. And I just think it's such a clever name.
Yeah. So I have a video up right now, put up Monday, update on the truck I'm storing, and then I got my wife to do a video. Oh, that took a lot.
Wow.
Whether or not we were going to keep our annual pass or not, and the perks with it, the do's, the goods, the bads, the uglies. So I'm editing that now. Hopefully that'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, you have to see if we keep our pass or not at the end of the episode. But she had fun with it. she was nervous, but we started talking and going back and forth, and she really liked it. So hopefully she'll do some more with me.
Very cool. And then I think, I just put out a video from Flower and Garden. And then my next one that I'll hopefully have up Sunday on the YouTube channel is we actually do a full day, not rope dropping at Magic Kingdom and see how much we get done. And it's a lot. And we saved $40 a piece, which is another complaint I have that I did look at the night before. I'm like, maybe my mom's here. Maybe we won't wait in lines. And you can't buy it the day before. It was gone. Our first fast pass or lightning lane would have been at 6:30 at night. And there's no discount for it.
Crazy about that.
Yeah, you really got to plan it out. Yeah. But we got everything done that wasn't a roller coaster. How about that? Like, I think we did everything else. No Tron, no Space Mountain, and part of that because it was down a lot, and no Seven Dwarfs. But everything else we did, and we left the park by 9:30, so it was a good day. So you can figure out how to do that. And then, as always, we're here every Tuesday-ish at 7:30 doing this for the peoples. So I really appreciate Karen, Chris, Tony, everybody who shows up. Andrew, thanks for coming, buddy. And Brian Crawford, if he's still here in the chat. It's what makes it fun. I love you guys coming, and without we wouldn't have a show because we couldn't drive these topics on our own. So please keep coming back, and we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.
Good night. See you.
Our time is too short, it's over now, and we hate to say goodbye, but we'll be back next Tuesday night, or at least we sure will try.